It began on a quiet night under the shroud of a silver moon. The woman, Hannah, walked along the deserted streets of her small, sleepy town. The cool wind wrapped around her like an invisible veil, carrying whispers of memories she could never quite grasp. She wasn't walking home, nor to any destination in particular. She walked because the night called to her, a pull she couldn't explain but never question. Her footsteps echoed against the cobblestone road, and as the hours deepened, she felt the familiar chill in the air, a cold that wasn't just of the weather. He was there. She didn't need to turn around to know it, she had grown used to his presence. Kato, her lover, her man, and the ghost who refused to leave her side. Kato had died 3 years ago in an accident that had shattered her world. And yet, he hadn't gone. At first, his presence had been fleeting. A flicker in the corner of her vision, a faint whisper of her name when she was alone. But over time, he had become more tangible, more real. She could see him clearly now, hear his voice as though he were still alive, and feel the faintest brush of his touch, like a cool breeze on her skin. That night, as Hannah paused under a street lamp, she felt him appear behind her. She turned to see him standing there, his ethereal form glowing faintly in the dim light. He looked as he always did, handsome, with dark, kind eyes that held a sadness only she could see. "You shouldn't be out this late," he said, his voice soft but firm. She smiled faintly. "And yet, you're always here." Kato stepped closer, his form becoming more solid the nearer he came. "I'll always be here, you know that." "But why?" she asked, her voice trembling with the question that had haunted her for years. "Why haven't you moved on? Don't you want peace?" He hesitated, his gaze dropping to the ground. "I don't know if peace is what I'm meant for. Not without you." Hannah felt a tear slip down her cheek. "But I'm still here, Kato. I'm alive, and you're not. That doesn't change how I feel," he said, stepping even closer. He reached out, his hand hovering near her cheek. She felt the faintest chill as his fingers brushed her skin. "I'll stay as long as you need me." Time passed, and their bond only deepened. Despite the impossibility of their situation, Hannah found comfort and even joy in Kato's presence. They would talk for hours, share laughter, and even argue like they used to. She began to wonder if she could ever love anyone else, knowing that Kato's spirit was forever tied to her own. One night, as she sat by her bedroom window, staring out at the moonlit sky, Kato appeared beside her. "I have something to tell you," he said, his voice uncharacteristically hesitant. "What is it?" she asked, turning to face him. He looked at her, his expression a mix of fear and hope. "There's a way for us to be together. Truly together, but it comes with a price." Hannah's heart skipped a beat. "What do you mean?" Kato explained that there was a ritual, an ancient and dangerous one, that could bind a spirit to the mortal plane in a physical form. It would allow him to live again, but only for a time. And it would require a sacrifice, something precious to both of them. Despite the risks, Hannah agreed. They performed the ritual under the light of a full moon, their hands clasped together as they spoke the incantations. The air crackled with energy, and for a moment, Hannah thought she might lose him forever. But then, he was there, real, solid, alive. She threw her arms around him, tears streaming down her face as she felt the warmth of his body for the first time in years.